Oh man, I don't understand derivatives. I have tried everything. Tutoring, YouTube videos, I even paid attention in class. I don't know what else to do. I'm going to fail my final exam. Wait, maybe I can call experts to explain me. Hello? Hi? Yes, can you please explain me how to derivative function? Thank you.
Hi Raul, thanks for contacting us. We're here at elmathway.com so we can explain you what's going on with the derivatives. The first thing you need to know about derivatives is that there are some rules that you need to learn before solving them. Here are the ones that you need to learn.
Let's start with this one. At a first glance, you can see that probably you can do a quotient rule, but it will be easier to pass all the roots as exponents and fractions instead of making the quotient rule and just simplifying to get just one thing and not a fraction, just like our model is doing in the video. Then you can apply the power rule by multiplying 4 to the 1/4 times x to the 1/4 minus 1. Solve all the multiplications and the difference that you have to do in order to get the final equation. In this case, 1/4 minus 1 will be minus 3/4, which will be the exponent of our final function. Remember to always simplify as much as you can at the end so you can get the best result and the most accurate one. You need to remember that it is very important not leaving negative exponents. By making the negative numerator of the fraction to a positive denominator of the fraction, you will get the correct answer. You can still turn the fractional exponent into a root, just like this. Now we're done with this derivative. Sometimes we will find cases in which the derivatives need to be solved by something called the chain rule. It is when you have several functions, they usually are 2 or even more, and you solve them by getting the derivative of the outermost thing and then the derivative of the innermost function that you go finding. In this case, the outermost thing is the cosine, so we have the cosine of something, and how are we going to call that something? We're going to call it u. And what is u? The x to the square. Then the innermost thing that we have is the x to the square. So we have to find the derivative of the cosine of the u and the x to the square. So with the rules that we have just learned, we're going to find that the derivative of the cosine is minus sine, and the derivative of 2x to the square is 2x. Now let's just substitute everything that we have. We have that u is equal to x to the square, so we will substitute the only u that we have in this function. Now let's just multiply everything and simplify everything so we can have the most accurate answer. Now let's make one that actually uses the quotient rule. In this case, we have something over something. So now let's apply our quotient rule, which is the one that my friend is writing on the board. We're gonna set u as x plus 1. The derivative of that is just 1. Now v is going to be x plus 2 to the cube. Now we have to find the derivative of v. But what do we have here? We have something elevated to the cube. We have to make a chain rule. We have already made a chain rule before, so you shouldn't have problems solving this one. This one's easier. We can see that the derivative of u to the cube will be 3u to the square, and that we have to multiply it by the derivative of x plus 2, that is just 1. Now we have to substitute everything once again and multiply everything so everything can be simplified. Now let's just substitute everything that we have in our quotient rule, which will be the derivative of u times v minus u times the derivative of v. Now let's divide that by v to the square. Now once again we have to simplify everything. Let's multiply the things that we can, and if we cannot do more things or things further, we will just leave the fraction as it is. Now that's the derivative of the thing that we have originally. We have another chain rule. So first of all, we have the sign of something, the sign of u. U is going to be sine of e to the 2x. The next outermost thing that we have is sine of v. V is going to be e to the 2x. Then we have to multiply once again and find the derivative of e to the w. W is going to be 2x. Then we have our innermost thing that is 2x. Now we have to find the derivative of that too. With the rules that we learned before, we know that sine of u and its derivative is going to be cosine of u. Same thing for sine of v. Then we have to find also that the derivative of e to the something is still going to be e to the something, and then we have to find the derivative of 2x. Now we have to multiply everything that we have before substituting anything. Once we have simplified everything, we're going to start substituting. Once we have substituted everything, we're going to have our derivative. To end this video, you will also learn that derivatives sometimes have logarithms in it. When we have logarithms, we have special rules and special formulas to solve them. You will have to learn the ones that are on the board so you can solve them perfectly. Just remember that with these formulas, we won't get the derivatives right away. We're just simplifying the logarithms. We find here the logarithm of x to the square times the square root of x over e to the 2x. According to the simplifying rules of logarithms, first we have to put the logarithm of the thing that we have on the top of the fraction minus the logarithm of the thing that we have on the bottom of it. Since we have the logarithm of a parenthesis that has inside things that are getting multiplied, we have to put the logarithm of 8 plus the logarithm of x to the square plus the logarithm of x to the 1 over 2. Then that minus the logarithm of e to the 2x. As of right now, we're going to leave the logarithm of 8 as it is, and then we have to multiply the exponent times the logarithm of x to the square. Of course, taking out the exponent. Next, we're going to carry on using the rules of simplification that we saw at the beginning of this section. Finally, after simplifying everything that we can now find the derivative. Considering that the derivative of the logarithm of any number is going to be 0, we're going to put 0 in our function, and we're going to carry on using the rules that we saw at the beginning of the video to find the derivative of the logarithms. Once we have our derivatives, everything is just as easy as simplifying everything. Multiply everything that we have and simplify everything that we can. Once we've done that, we're going to have our derivative.
Please remember to like and share this video if you found it useful. You can follow us on Facebook in El Mathway, and on Twitter, on Snapchat, on YouTube, and on Instagram. And remember, if you want to support us, you can donate to the PayPal account and just go to paypal.me/MarcosC170. Thanks for watching.